When we caught up with the cast of the challenge to start recording the date, we found Dee and King Hook at the airport, ready for their most anticipated trip to Spain. However, Dee was on her cell phone and Hook was in La La Land somewhere. "Ma, you need help. I'll see what I can do. Dee Dee hated to do what she was about to do next, but she had no other recourse. She had to ask Hook for help. Dee's outburst shook Hook out of his reverie. Dee looked frazzled and discombobulated, as was her custom after chatting on the phone with her mother.
"Whatever's the matter, Dee?"
I kinda need your help.
"Of course, anything."
I kinda need help to bail my ma out of jail. Look, please don't judge me. My ma is plenty ghetto, but she's my ma. She at least never abandoned me like my dad did. And well, she's in jail because of a loser boyfriend number 40. Look, I saw Orange is the New Black on Netflix, and my ma would never survive in there. She has done this all of my life, since dear old dad left us, and Dee couldn't take it anymore, nor could she continue her explanation of her sad life with her mom. All the pent-up years dealing with her mom's loser boyfriends and all of their addictions led to her hyperventilating. Dee never had a childhood or a safe place until now. These random strangers in this competition have been kinder to her and have offered more by way of safety than her own family. Dee continued to wail, and Hook immediately felt sympathy, knowing how dysfunctional his own family was.
"I would never judge you, Dee. Please remember my mother was the evil Queen Arisa, which by many people's standards was a royal raging mentalist."
He gently stroked her hair as she sobbed and comforted her where she was at.
"Tell you what, I will have Jay set the plan in motion to bail out your mother. What's her name?"
Hook began punching Jay's number on the phone when Dee replied, "Emily DeVille. Everyone calls her Madam Mim." Hook was shocked.
"The Madam Mim? The one that used to go to school here with my mother?"
"Yeah, the very one. Also part of the Slytherin house."
"But that would mean your father is..."
"Look, I know. My father was the holier-than-thou majestic Merlin, the confidant douche nozzle to the king. Confidant to the king that married your mother. Merlin the bastard that left my mother and his little girl, i.e. me, to serve your stepfather, King Arthur."
"Bloody hell, oh Dee, I had no idea."
"I know you didn't. I don't tell many people. It's embarrassing. To have been dumped by your own father, the political figurehead of our day, and raised by such an unfortunate being. But I do appreciate your help more than you know. Like I said, my ma ain't the best, but she's all I have. I am forever in your debt."
"No, you're not."
Hook meant it. He never wanted any of his friends to feel obligated to serve him.
"Very good. I will have Jay take care of it, okay? Now, let's talk travel plans, shall we? Where would you like to go first when we land in Spain?"
Dee wiped her eyes and perked up a bit. "Well, if I may ask for another huge favor, I kind of heard in Simbook that there is this mega fashion show taking place in a secluded area that only VIPs can get into. I know you may think fashion is dull and boring, but I think there is as much art as music or theater. So, you think you can get us into that resort for Fashion Week this weekend?" Hook could truly care less about fashion shows, and he'd do anything for this broken soul in front of him, even if it meant enduring blah fashion for a week.
"That I think I can do as well."
Dee was ecstatic. Her lifelong dream of seeing the Spain Fashion Week was but a few days away. "Look, I know I'm over the moon about Fashion Week, but I really couldn't think of a better person to realize this dream with than you. Thanks for not judging me because of my mother and father, too.
I would never judge Dee.
Spain was everything Dee dreamt it would be. The eccentric columns and glorious detail was exhilarating. If she could, she would have parachuted down just so that she could linger above the city a little longer. When the plane landed, Joaquin was waiting for them on the landing strip. Jay, it's so good to see you. What the f are you doing here? How's Mama?
She is special, that one, but do not worry. Your pretty little head. Lolita, my assistant, is taking care of everything. Your kind king has asked me for a bigger favor that I am working on for him. It has to do with duty.
Dee was dumbfounded. What more could you have done, Hook? She glared at the king with curiosity. Hook bowed and took his leave, with a sly smirk on his face, not before telling Dee that they would see each other for dinner that evening.
Now then, Mrs. Animal Prince, please have a seat. Do you remember your portfolio? Hook had your collection added to this week's fashion parade.
Dee became over-emotional and began tearing up again. The knot in her throat wouldn't let her express how she felt, which probably was a blessing, as it could have been a string of emotional curse words.
I know you are very excited to get started, and I will certainly not get in your way for much longer, but listen to me. Do you mind?
Yeah, sure.
I have heard rumors that you are not fully invested in Hook, in the most intimate sense. Are those rumors true?
Dee was getting nervous. She just heard the most amazing news of her lifetime. How did the subject switch so quickly? What the hell are you talking about, Jay?
Do you even like Hooks?
Have you seen him, Jay? Of course I fucking like Hook. Does a bear like salmon? Is a sad clown depressing?
Dee, you are most expressiveness, but could you love him like you love Tink?
Dee's eyes almost popped out of her skull and her heart stopped. The beads of sweat became unbearable and unsightly for a young lady. Jay, I really don't know what you're talking about. Tink is like the sister I never had.
You do not need to tell me how you feel, but I would hope you are honest with Hook after all that he has done for you and your family. But most importantly, be honest with yourself. It is not good to pretend you are someone you are not, and we would truthfully love you regardless of who you love.
Stay tuned for part 2 of Dee and Hook's date, and find out how her fashion show fares, if she confesses where her affections truly lie, and who has been following our king since he landed in Spain.